Welcome to today's masterclass. The topic for today is epidemiological triad. Now, what exactly is this triad? So, initially it was thought that what is the causation of a disease? They thought it was just some kind of an agent. Okay, so it was known as germ theory. That is, they said the germ enters into your body, it causes some kind of a disease. So it was a one-to-one relationship. That was germ theory. And then the concept of epidemiological triad came into existence, which said that a disease occurs because of a relationship between your environment, your host, and agent. So all these three together is responsible for your health. So any issue in any of these would tend to cause your disease. So that was what epidemiological triad. Triad means three factors. So epidemiological triad involves your environment, the host, and the agent which causes your disease. So first let's consider agent. So agent is any organism, a substance or a force, the presence or lack which may initiate the disease process and may cause it to continue. That means, it doesn't mean that the agent, only with the presence of agent it should cause a disease, even when the agent is absent. For example, here if you see here, nutrition, when you have a lack of nutrition, it tends to cause a disease. So what is an agent? An agent, it could be a living thing, it could be a non-living thing. Okay, an organism, a substance or a force, the presence or absence of which may initiate a disease. So when you consider agent, it could be living or biological agents, for example, your microorganisms, your insects, your rodents, okay, and non-living organisms such as it could be a nutrient, okay, it could be an excess of a nutrient or a deficiency of a nutrient, for example, some kind of a vitamin. Then you have chemicals. Now chemicals could be external or internal. External is when you get exposed to some kind of harmful chemicals, or internal chemicals could be again your hormones. And then you have physical. So any kind of physical substance which can cause a damage or an injury. So all this would be agents. And then you have the host. Host, obviously, since we are talking about human beings, we as humans are host. Host factors, how does a human being react to the agents and react to his environment? So the relationship between me and the agent which causes infection, or me with the environment where I am. But also again, just because there is a group of population, if you look at a group of population, not everyone gets affected by a particular disease. So there are some factors within the host which determine whether you get the disease or not. First, for example, demographic characteristic. For example, age. Few diseases tend to affect the old age, few diseases tend to affect the younger people. Then you have your gender. Few diseases tend to affect the females and few tend to affect males. And then you have ethnicity. Again, ethnicity for issues such as obesity, it tends to affect more Caucasian population. Okay, then you have certain type of cancers which occur at a particular ethnic groups. Okay, so all this also has some kind of an effect. The next is biological characteristics of a human being. So again, if you consider immune status, so if there are certain population or certain people, if the immunity is low, obviously they are more exposed to the disease. Nutritional status, all this together helps to make a stronger person. So if there's any deficiency in all this, it tends to lead to disease. Socio-economic characteristic, obviously socio-economic means, again, if you are in a high economic status, then obviously you tend to have a good immune status, good nutritional status, so the chances of getting disease is much less. Again, education, because once you get education, you can tend to learn about the basic hygiene protocols, so again your immunity would tend to be better. And then you have lifestyle. Same, if you have a good lifestyle, that is a good healthy habit, proper exercises, good food, access to good quality food, all this tend to contribute to your host factor. So again, human being, we are under control of a lot of other factors within again, it depends upon our age, our gender, you have your ethnicity, whether quality of food, and because of quality of food you have your immune status, nutritional status, economic status. So all this tends to affect the human being. And then the environment, that is the environment in which the human being is staying. So the environment acts as a source of reservoir for the agents of the disease. Okay, so our basically it's the environment which helps to transmit the diseases. Okay, so it helps in the transmission of agents to the host. Initially, when you consider the causation theory, they said it was only host and agent. But what this epidemiological triad says, that host and agent are there, but also environment is also important, because environment is where is through which your agent enters your host, or agent causes some kind of effect on the host. So it helps in the transmission of agent to the host, bringing about their contact and interaction. So when you consider environment, we have different kinds of environment. First, you have the physical environment, we have the biological and social environment. So physical environment is all the spaces surrounding us. For example, let it be air, water, gases, liquid, solid. So in case if you're in an environment where there is contamination of the water, okay, so for example, issues like E. coli, it will spread everywhere. Okay, so that particular environment is causing, in case of E. coli, when you consider E. coli is the agent, we are the humans, and what is helping in transmission? The infected water. And then you have biological. So biological is all the living things which surround us. It could be the viruses, organisms, it could be the animals, insects. So for example, it could be malaria. So malaria, it is transmitted through the mosquitoes, which is a biological environment surrounding us. Again, COVID, it was started because of bats. So it was initially transmitted. So COVID is a virus which was transmitted from bats to human beings. So it is a biological environment in which tends to affect us. And then again, social comprises all the human beings which is around us. Again, for example of COVID, it has human to human transmission. So biological was animal to zoonotic transmission, that is from animals to human. Social would be from humans to human, it's getting transmitted. For example, even simple something like common flu or chicken pox, where it's transmitted from one person to another person because of their interaction or because of some activities they've done together. So this is epidemiological triad. So what exactly epidemiological triad is? For an infection to occur in a human being, first you require that particular agent. Either the agent should be present or should be absent. This agent enters the host, which is the human being. Again, host, just because I have an organism in me doesn't mean it will cause an infection if my immunity is good. So there are certain factors, again, as we discussed. It could be immune status, nutritional status, okay, it could be the ethnicity, okay, it could be the socio-economic status, okay. So all that together has an influence on the host. If the patient or if the human being has good immunity, they tend to fight that particular disease. So they tend to fight that particular agent, so the patient will not show any symptoms of the disease. Okay, so that is host factors. And what helps in this transmission in middle is what we call environment. Okay, so this environment helps in transmission of the agent to the host. So this basically is a triad. So you have your environment, you have your agent, and you have a host. So ideally all these three should be in equilibrium with each other to maintain good health. In case if there is any imbalance between any of these relationships, it will tend to what we say a disease in that particular human being. So this is an epidemiological triad. This is a very common short note, and it's also a very common Viva question. Also comes in NEET. So with this we come to the end of today's lecture. Hope you really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.